Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC Accountancy Revision classes. Students, in video number 3, we have discussed about the various items that are treated in the final accounts of not-for-profit organizations, right? Let us move on now. I will take up, last point we have discussed was purchase of sports materials, right? Yes. Now let us move on to the next item, investment in securities. Investment in securities. Investment in securities, yes. See, investment in securities means we may invest some specific fund that is the concern is having in some securities. It will be invested so that the concern may get some sort of revenue, income, correct? Or remember friends, if specific fund is invested, let me make it very clear, like a donation for construction of swimming pool, or like a donation for construction of a pavilion, isn't it, for sports club, all these things. If such amount is invested in any securities for that matter, the income derived, the interest derived therefrom should be added to the concerned fund, and should not be credited to income and expenditure account. Remember this, correct? Yes. So we have to add it to the concerned fund in the balance sheet on the liability side, but we should not credit it to income and expenditure account. On the credit side should not be entered. If it is general fund, it's fine, you can credit, but if it is specific fund, don't credit it to income and expenditure account. Clear? Yes. So here investment in securities should be treated as an investment, and the investment should be shown on the asset side, and any income derived therefrom should be added to concerned fund. Clear? Yes. Then next one is printing and stationery. Printing and stationery. Printing and stationery. This is a regular, that is a recurring expense. That is most of the times we have to spend money for printing and stationery work, isn't it? Maybe purchase of some items that are required for writing, books, sheets, refill, pencil, correction fluid, anything for that matter which comes under the term stationery, isn't it? Or printing costs maybe for distributing the leaflet, pamphlet, isn't it? Or maybe that is preparing flex, isn't it, to be displayed somewhere in busy streets. So all this comes under the printing and stationery expenses, and they are recurring in nature. That means they occur to the not-for-profit organization frequently. Every time it comes, those expenses repeats. So as though those items are repetitive in nature, and as printing and stationery both are expenses, that should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. That is, debit side of income and expenditure account means left hand side of income and expenditure account. Debit side of income and expenditure account should be entered. Clear? It will not go to balance sheet. But remember friends, stock of stationery items at the end, if it is given in the problem, that should be entered in the where? Balance sheet, because those are items that are lying, that is stock, which is asset, right? Sometimes what they will do is, they will give you the opening balance of printing and stationery, then purchased during the year, then closing balance will be given in the problem. Opening balance, add purchases, isn't it? Then they will give you closing balance. Let us take this as 100, purchased during the year 100, isn't it? Closing balance will be shown as 80. Then what you have to do is, you have to find out the difference between this and this. This is closing balance, right? The balance between these two, that is 120, right? This is nothing but printing and stationery consumed. Stationery consumed during the year. In this way, you have to find out the that is materials consumed. Stationery consumed during the year. So in this case, opening balance is given, purchases is given on the payment side, printing and stationery. Then closing balance is given in the adjustment part. What you have to do is, you have to do like this: opening, add purchases, less closing, you will get the difference as stationery consumed during the year, and this 120 stationery consumed amount should be debited to income and expenditure account. You should enter it on the expenditure side. This is debit side of income and expenditure account. Clear? Yes, that is what you have to do here. Then this balance rupees 80, isn't it? This balance of rupees 80 should be shown in the balance sheet as a stock of stationery at the end. Stock of stationery. Now let us move on. Next item is advertisement, right? No, one more item is there. Postage and courier charges. Postage and courier charges. Courier charges. How much is the postage and courier charges? We have to see. And here also, sometimes they will give you in the same way: opening balance, purchases, then closing, postage stamps in hand, stock of postage stamps, like that they will give you. In that case, you have to do like this. You have to find out that is a postage consumed during the year should be debited to, that is income and expenditure account. Here, postage and courier charges is recurring in nature, repetitive in nature, and hence it should be entered on the, as it is expense, postage and courier always will be expense to the concern, isn't it? Should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. As it is an expenditure and it is repetitive in nature, revenue in character, it should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Moving on to next one, that is advertisements, right? Advertisements. Expense or income always is an expense, right? Advertisement. Frequent. Once today if we give advertisement, it is not enough. Again, repeatedly we have to give advertisement to create lasting impression in the minds of the people. When you tell 10 times, then it may have some, that is a consequence. It may initiate some, that is urge to buy the product, isn't it? So repeated advertisement is required. So it is recurring in nature. So revenue expenditure should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Debit side of, right hand side of income and expenditure account, that is expenditure, right? Yes. Then wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Wages and salaries again is an expenditure. Always wages will be expenditure, right? Yes. As it is so repetitive in nature, every day you have to pay the wage, every month you have to pay the salary, isn't it? Recurring in nature, recurring expenditure, so it should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Wages and salaries is a repetitive in nature, should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Then honorarium, honorarium, that is what do you mean by honorarium? Honorarium means it is like a payment of some ad hoc amount, a lump sum amount to a person for his services. It is not salary, because salary cannot be paid in case of not for profit organization, as their income is very low, isn't it? One part-time secretary or one person will be, clerk will be appointed to look after the activities and to because tiny payments are to be made, and some income that may be received from members, new members may join for preparing that receipt, preparing final accounts, all those things. One clerk is required, one person is required to maintain the books of accounts and to look after, that is the activities of the concern, isn't it? So to him, he is not a full-time employee, so we cannot give salaries, isn't it? Monthly salaries cannot be given. So for that person, reason, to compensate his services, we'll pay some amount to that person, not equivalent to salary, but less than that. A small amount will be paid, isn't it? That is called honorarium. And it should be paid every month, right? So when it is paid during every month, then it is recurring in nature or repetitive in nature, and honorarium being an expense. The firm is, that is organization is supposed to, not for profit organization is supposed to pay that amount, so it is an expense. So it is recurring in nature or revenue expenditure and should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Debit side of income and expenditure account. Now, telephone charges, same thing friends, no need of elaborating, simply. Telephone charges, again an expense, and every month we have to pay the telephone bills, right? Recurring in nature, so it should be entered on the which side? Debit side of income and expenditure account, correct? Yes. Then electricity and water charges, again same thing, expenditure should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Repairs and renewals, again repair now and then, never know when the machinery or anything, the item gets collapsed, isn't it? So immediately repairing should be done. Again it is recurring in nature. We have to what we have to do? We have to enter it on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Then upkeep of playground. What do you mean by upkeep of playground? That's looking after the maintenance of the playground. Very simple. International match and all this, there's matches when conducted, then there should be, that is the playground should be made update, isn't it? As per there is a standard that is required for an international match, not local match like some kids, isn't it? Even I think you people are also doing the same thing, taking 3 sticks and fixing it to the ground, isn't it? Or sometimes there is a red stone or that black stone will be kept as that is a wicket, isn't it? And someone will stand behind that wicket keeper and you will start playing, isn't it? So like that. In the same way, here international match, during that time you should keep the ground to that international level. You have to, let's cut the weeds and all those things, or grass and everything, it should be removed, isn't it? So that is called maintenance of the ground, which is called upkeep of the ground. And again matches will be held frequently, so upkeep of ground should be done frequently. Whether there is a match or not, then even still then it should be maintained properly, otherwise it will become a forest, isn't it? Instead of playground, it will become a forest. So that is again expenditure, revenue expenditure, repetitive in nature, so should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Then next one is conveyance charges for travel, maybe, isn't it? From place to another place to take the players or members for a match, isn't it? Some expenses you have incurred, or for any other purpose, traveling purpose, conveyance amount is paid, the travel expenses are paid. So that is again an expenditure and repetitive in nature, so it should be entered again on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Debit side of income and expenditure, that is the left hand side of income and expenditure account, expenditure side. Then subscription for periodicals. Remember friends, subscriptions for periodicals is an expenditure. Subscriptions on the receipt side is an income. So subscription to periodicals means periodicals may be there is newspapers, dailies, isn't it? Or once in fortnight some magazines you will say, or magazines, isn't it? All these comes under the periodicals, means comes once in a month, once in 15 days, every day, or once in a week, isn't it? So that is called periodicals. Those periodicals, when we subscribe and when we purchase, every month we have to pay the bill, right? We have to pay the bill. So it is repetitive in nature and it is an expenditure, so it should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Audit fees. Audit may be conducted maybe once in 3 months, or once in 6 months, or maybe once in a year, isn't it? But it is frequent. Every time we have to conduct the audit, we have to do the audit of our books of accounts. So for that we have to pay some charges. Its audit fees should be paid to the accountant, isn't it? Chartered accountant maybe. So that expense which is paid, it is an expense, no doubt. We are paying audit fees. Whenever it appears on the payment side, that means it is an expenditure only, not income. And it is, as it is repetitive in nature, should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Then entertainment expenses. Expenses made on entertainment. Entertainment is not that once we do the entertainment, we will not do entertainment till the whole lifetime. No, it is not like that. Entertainment is a part of the life, isn't it? Students, they will do the entertainment for the whole, that is all the 24 hours, isn't it? But they will sleep for 12 hours. So I think remaining out of 12 hours, they will spend for their daily routines maybe 1 or 2 hours. Then remaining 10 hours for entertainment. PUBG is there, isn't it? Different games are, I don't know the names, or you people know it in a better way, isn't it? So these computer games, or they will be busy with their laptop, or they will go to ground and they will play without any tension. There's free citizens, isn't it? No burden, nothing. Some of them they do well. They work, they write the notes, they listen to the entire video, they respond to the assignments, and some of them without bothering about the videos, isn't it? They never go through the video. Whatever questions are there, they will search for answers from their friends. Friends will prepare the answers and they will send a copy, pick of that answer, and the students will submit the same thing. Sometimes same other's handwritten copy will be sent, isn't it? Sometimes they will simply copy and they will send. Sometimes they will call the teachers by mistake, isn't it? Sir, Mr. So-and-so, send me the answer of that assignment. By mistake, they will call the teachers. You may be knowing, isn't it? So whatever it is, let us come to the point here. My point is, entertainment expenses. Entertainment will be done frequently, so it is recurring in nature. As it is an expense, should be entered on the debit side, that is expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Municipal taxes. Municipal taxes. Municipal taxes, every year we have to pay the municipal tax, isn't it? Local tax should be paid, and that is as we pay regularly every year, that is recurring in nature. And municipal tax is an expenditure for the not-for-profit organization, because it is the amount we are paying to there is a municipality, isn't it? So as it is an expense and it is a recurring in nature, should be entered on the which side? Debit side of income and expenditure account. Next one is charity. Charity. What do you mean by charity? Something given away without any expectation, without expecting anything, isn't it? That is not charity. When we distribute something to the public for getting votes, that is not charity. Remember, friends, that is just like doing business, vote business it is, isn't it? But here my point is, charity means something given to the poor people or those who are deserving, and there is no expectation, any expectation of any returns. So that is called charity. Though charity is given away, that is on humanitarian ground or helping the poor, isn't it, with some ethics, but still it is an expense for the not-for-profit organization, as they have to pay amount. It is an expense for the organization, and it is recurring in nature, repetitive in nature, because charity should be done every time, isn't it? Some beggars may come, or there are some needy people who may approach, or there may be flood, isn't it? Now it is the northern places especially, they affected a lot, not once, I think twice or thrice it happened. One side corona, isn't it? Other side it's a flood. People have lost everything, almost some people, they have lost everything, including their house. Very pity condition, poor condition, isn't it? So, and even their food items which they have stored, which is the effort of their hard work for the whole year, which is stored and which was kept ready for the next 1 year, that entire food grains have been, that is destroyed by the flood. Just imagine the condition. During that time, if we do some charities, some not-for-profit organization, they involve in doing the charities, giving the charities to those people, isn't it? So that is an expense for the concern, and it should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Then last one is insurance. Insurance. What do you mean by insurance? Insurance premium, isn't it? Premium paid for the insurance of the maybe the not-for-profit organization or their concern, or for any of the materials they are having, isn't it? So again, is an expense. Insurance always will be paid maybe monthly, quarterly, or bi-yearly, that is twice in a year, isn't it? Or yearly premium. Such a different options are there. So depending upon that, whatever the mode you have opted, but still insurance is that is a repetitive nature. It is an expenditure. We have to pay for that, and that is an expenditure, and it is so regular in nature, recurring in nature, repetitive in nature. So insurance should be debited to income and expenditure account. It should not be capitalized. It is not a capital item at all, isn't it? Though the policies are purchased for longer period of time, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years or 30 years, sometimes whole life policies, their endowment policies, isn't it? But still it is an expense and it is recurring in nature. So we have to enter it on the debit side of income and expenditure account. This is the whole picture of the different items that are treated in case of not-for-profit organization. I think almost it is clear for you now. Now, if you want to, the problem part, friends, there are some problems. Some problems will have that is opening balance sheet, while others they are missing the opening balance sheets. They give the capital fund in the problem itself, isn't it? In such cases, no need of preparing opening balance sheet. If a capital fund is given in the problem, no need of preparing opening balance sheet. If capital fund is given, not given in the problem, then we have to prepare opening balance sheet from the details supplied to us. That is opening assets and liabilities they will give. From that we have to prepare a balance sheet. That is opening balance sheet should be prepared. Then we have to proceed to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. And there are two types of receipts and payments account. In one receipts and payments account, some items will be given as 2016, 2017, 2018, like subscriptions. Let me take up subscriptions. In such cases, you should be very careful that your accounting year is 2017. Don't bother about this because it is separately given. When you are supposed to add or deduct, when the amount of last year and next year is included in current year's figure. If the amounts are given separately for different years, this 2017 amount belongs to 17 only to 17. So in that case, you need not have to deduct or add to this figure. When separate figures are given, no question of adding or deducting those outstanding, paid in advance or whatever it is, isn't it? Those things are not required at all. So depending upon the type of instruction given in the problem, the type of problem, you have to proceed and you have to conclude. So that is what you have to do here in case of subscriptions, right? Or any other item for rent, but maybe a rent sometimes they will give, office expense they will give, isn't it? All these things will be there in the problem. So depending upon the type of problem, you have to tackle the things, correct? Yes. The other part I will take up in the next class. I'll give you assignment, as I already told. This is the fourth video, right? So I will give assignment through that is WhatsApp. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.